So I did it. I did everything they tell you to do. I posted consistently for a whole month. We're talking 18 videos in 30 days. And you want to know what the YouTube algorithm gave me for all of that work? 11 subscribers and 595 views. Look, I promise, this is not another one of those how to get more views videos. This is just the real, unfiltered story of what it actually feels like to start a YouTube channel from scratch right now. For me, I'm over 50, retirement is on the horizon, and this whole YouTube thing is supposed to be a part of my next chapter. This is the emotional roller coaster that nobody seems to ever want to talk about.
Welcome to Waves of Change. This is my journey of retiring, relocating, and writing what peace means for me. Because you're never too late and your peace is never too far.
It all started with a feeling. I bet you've had it too. That, okay, I'm really going to do this time. I'm starting a YouTube channel. For years, I've been watching all the creators I admire, and my phone was just packed with notes and ideas I was so passionate about. And being over 50, with retirement getting closer and closer, it felt like now or never. This was the year I was finally going to commit. My plan was simple, maybe a little bit nuts. Just post all the time, find my voice, and learn as I go. So I just jumped right in. That first week was an absolute blur. I spent hours and hours researching, scripting, and trying to do a storyboard. I turned my little office into this makeshift studio, messing with the lights and trying to get the sound just right. Let me tell you, talking to the camera lens is just plain weird. It's getting better, but it's still just plain weird. And then came the editing. Oh man, you could get lost for hours in the editing process. You're digging through hours of footage, chopping out all the ums, ahs, and finding music, making graphics, thumbnails. What's a thumbnail? I had to discover that for myself. It was a mountain of work for a video that was only like 10 minutes long. When I finally hit the publish button though, my heart was just pounding. I sent it to a few friends, shared it on my personal social media, and then I just waited. I was refreshing the analytics page like a total maniac. A few views started to trickle in, and then 20, and then 50, and it felt really good. It felt amazing. Every single one of those views felt like a real person telling me, hey, you're on the right track here, so keep going. And I did. A new video went up, then another, and then another. Each one was hours of my life and little pieces of me all packaged up and sent out into the void. But as the days turned into weeks, that initial excitement started to curdle into this quiet dread. The views just weren't going up. The algorithm, this all-powerful thing we're so desperate to please, didn't seem to have a clue that I existed. But I was doing what the experts said. I was being consistent. I was making the best videos I knew how. But the numbers, they were brutal, y'all. After a full month of that grind, 18 videos, 11 subscribers, 595 total views, and 12.5 hours of watch time. Honestly, I just wanted to scream. I still want to scream sometimes. And it wasn't just the low numbers that stung. It was the silence. You pour your soul into something. You put yourself out there and you're met with total indifference. That was the first brutal reality. You could do everything right, and for a long, long time, it could feel like none of it matters. The emotional weight of that is so much heavier than any YouTube guru ever admits. You start questioning everything. Is my stuff awful? Is my voice annoying? After a whole career of being competent, feeling competent, you start thinking, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. You've heard it a million times, right? Consistency is the key. It's the number one piece of advice for any new YouTuber. And look, it's not wrong advice. You obviously can't grow if you don't post. But here's what they forget to tell you. Consistency by itself isn't a magic wand. It's not a guarantee. It's more like the price of admission, not the winning lottery ticket. My little experiment proved that. I mean, I was the poster child for consistency, but the algorithm didn't reward my hard work with a flood of views. It just gave me data, and that data was telling me a pretty hard story. This is where the real emotional roller coaster kicks in. This one video suddenly got 228 views. I was psyched. I was so thrilled. This is it. The algorithm finally sees me. I immediately poured in everything, every ounce of energy into my next video, thinking I finally cracked the code. I hit publish, and that video got 10 views. That whiplash from the high to the low was awful. This is where self-doubt just moves right in and starts redecorating your brain. The comparison trap was so vicious, and it almost felt impossible to climb out of. It will absolutely murder your motivation. It's so easy to forget that every single channel grows differently, and that most of what looks like an overnight success is usually built on years and years of work that we never saw. You see these kids in their 20s getting millions of views, and you just can't help but wonder, did I miss the boat entirely? You start to feel like you're failing a test you didn't even know you were supposed to be studying for. The promise was, if you do the work, you'll get the results. But when you do the work and you don't get the results, it feels like a personal failure. It did. This is the exact moment where most people burn out and quit. They follow the recipe, and the recipe doesn't work. So they just assume they're the problem. But the recipe is missing half of the ingredients. So if any of this sounds familiar to you, if you're down in the trenches right now feeling like you're shouting into a hurricane, just do me a favor and hit that like button. It honestly tells me that I'm not the only one feeling this, and hopefully it lets you know that you aren't either. It feels like we're all trying to figure this out together. So after a month of spinning my wheels and feeling totally defeated, I knew something had to change, and it wasn't going to be my upload schedule or my camera. It had to be my mindset. I had to have an honest conversation with myself and completely change how I define success in these early days. The fix wasn't going to be a secret growth hack. They're just hacks. They may work and they may not. It was just a change in my perspective that I had to make. First, I had to get my expectations in check. The truth is, my numbers for that first month, a handful of subscribers and a few hundred views, are completely, totally normal. They aren't a sign that I'm failing. They're a sign that I'm a beginner. We see so many stories about people going viral that we've forgotten what normal growth actually looks like. It's slow. It's one person at a time. And it's almost never glamorous. You think at my, I want to say old age, but at my age, I know that good things take time. But the internet has a way of making you forget that. So I started redefining what a win was. A win wasn't 10,000 views anymore. A win was a single kind comment from a total stranger who found my video helpful. A win was looking at my video number 18 and seeing how much clearer the audio was compared to my video number 1. A win was finally figuring out some cool transition in my editing software. After decades in my career, it was humbling and kind of exciting to be a student again. I'm enjoying this process. You have to celebrate these tiny victories because in the beginning, they're all you got. Each view is a real person who chose to spend their time with you. And that's not nothing. This led to my second mental shift. I had to treat this whole phase like a free-for-all experiment. Nobody really knows what's going to work when they first start out. They don't. If they say they do, they're probably lying. Your first month, even the first year, isn't about winning YouTube. It's about learning how to play the game. Every video that flops isn't a failure, it's a lesson. Okay, that thumbnail didn't work. That title wasn't clickable. That intro was probably too slow. Instead of seeing low views as rejection, I started seeing them as free feedback. I'm basically in my own personal sandbox where the stakes are super low. This is a time for me to be messy, to try weird ideas, to just throw stuff at the wall to see if it sticks. Once I started to change my thinking, I realized the real engine for growth on YouTube isn't about being consistent alone. It's a mix of two much deeper, much more human things: resilience and purpose. Now, resilience is the thing that carries you through the valley of despair when your numbers are just flatlining. It's about getting to a place where failure isn't the end of the world. It actually reminds me of the scripture in Galatians that says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." And man, on YouTube, that harvest can feel like a million miles away. You have to have faith in a harvest you can't even see yet. The most successful people I see on YouTube are the ones who treat failure as a chance to learn and to get better. The difference between the channels that make it and the ones that fail is really about talent. It's almost always pure, stubborn persistence. But resilience needs fuel, and that fuel is your purpose. You have to ask yourself that really tough question: why am I really doing this? Because if the answer is to get famous and to make a whole lot of money, I promise you, you will quit, especially if you're starting later in life like I am. The validation from views and subscribers is just too finicky in the beginning. It is, I'm telling you. Your why has to be deeper. I know you've heard that, but your why has to be deep. For me, with retirement around the corner, it was about sharing some of what I've learned over the years. It was about challenging myself with something new instead of just sitting back and letting the world happen. Do you love teaching people things? Do you get a buzz from the creative process itself? Do you want to connect with other people who share your weird obsession with something? That's the motivation that will actually hold your channel up. That's what will make you sit down and edit when you're tired and discouraged. It's what makes the whole thing feel worth it, even when there are no external rewards. My stats the first month, objectively, were terrible. They were. But I also learned a ton about making videos. I connected with some really cool people in the comments, and I proved to myself that I could stick with something demanding, even at this stage in life. Those were the real wins for me. So the brutal honesty of starting a YouTube channel right now is that it's harder and slower than you probably think it's going to be. It's an emotional meat grinder that will test your patience, your confidence, and your will to keep going. The algorithm is not going to be your friend, and it won't notice you at first. Your hard work will not pay off right away. But that first month, or even that first 6 months, isn't a final grade on your content. It's really a test of your character. It's about building resilience, learning to manage your own head, and holding on tight to the reason you started this in the first place. You have to find the joy in the process, not in just the results. You have to focus on getting just 1% better every single time you upload. Every creator you look up to started exactly where you are right now, at zero, feeling unsure of themselves, but having a purpose that was strong enough to make them hit publish just one more time, whether they're 15 or over 50 like me. So let me know in the comments, what's your biggest struggle starting out with YouTube? What part of this emotional roller coaster has hit you the hardest? I read every comment. I really want to build a community here where we can talk about the real side of this journey, not just the fluffy stuff. And if you want to follow along with this very real story of trying to build something from nothing, make sure you subscribe. We're in this together. I'm Vanessa with Ways of Change, and I want you to remember that you're never too late, and your peace is never too far.